totally cool. That makes you me now.
All different? Okay, just make sure I don't have them all, but we all have them.
For being me, I really appreciate that. I feel really seen. Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening.
Have fun. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
God, there's a lot of them. Wing. He's smiling.
Hi, Malik.
Hello.
Good, how are you? You got all your salad jars?
Yes, that's what's in here.
You
How'd you
liquid
hear
salad
about it?
jars? You told me.
Oh, did I? Okay, yeah. She's been feeding my whole floor. And
Yes, ma'am.
they saw me doing it. They're like, you're not really ill. And they texted her, so she made them for everybody. So today, they were all eating and yesterday.
Okay.
To cover up the pizza? Because
Listen,
you don't tell Hannah about that.
I told you, I'm not
Crap.
for your store.
Oh, they have a legal department in the city?
R75. Ease my way into it.
Hey, this is from a guy.
Yeah, basically they just want to make sure you're asking for what it is you
Fire
want.
fries as well?
Thank you. But see, you're smart. You're not pigeonholed. There you go. Yep. You're smart. You figured it out.
One minute.
And mine's all the way up. I love it. I don't feel like a child sitting at an adult table.
Don't judge my child size.
What did he say?
Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Will you please rise for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and to whom we give thanks for allowing us passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive, respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel Benro, please call the roll.
President Strozier,
Here.
Vice President McElroy,
Here.
Director Barnbrett,
Here.
Director Keating,
Here.
Director Leon.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Appreciate it. Moving on to the next agenda item here, recognition of staff, students, and community.
Nope,
Okay.
one before that.
Yep, for sure. Anybody want to adopt the agenda?
I move to adopt the
I
agenda.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, concerns as it's presented? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Now we're on to the good stuff, recognition of staff, students, and community. Agenda item number A is state holidays and civic observances, and there are none this month. And B, recognition of First Creek Middle School student Evan Sula.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Health Services, recommends that the Board of Directors recognize First Creek Middle School student Evan Sula for his quick thinking and actions in support of his peer in a potentially life-threatening event. And at this time, I'd like to ask that our Director of Health Services, Shaleigh Hobbs, explains a little bit more about what this is for.
President Strozier and members of the board, my name is Shaleigh Hobbs. I'm the Director of Health Services. This evening, I want to support in honoring and thanking First Creek Middle School student Evan Sula for his quick actions in support of his peer in a potentially life-threatening event. During class, Evan's peer began to choke and needed assistance. The classmate walked out into the hallway and began to reach for their throat. Evan swiftly stepped in and began to support his peer with the Heimlich maneuver, performing multiple abdominal thrusts to support in dislodging the item. Evans remained calm and continued to support the student until staff could intervene. His quick thinking and actions helped the student. I want to commend Evans for his bravery and willingness to step in during an emergent time of need. Evans reports he learned this valuable life-saving skill in health class. Thank you, and well done, Evans. I'm so very proud of
I love the way.
He's coming up.
Well, wait, let him talk first.
We're a little rusty.
Thank you, brother.
Wait, oh.
Say anything?
And perhaps family would want to join for a picture?
And for those that are watching, I did offer Evans a chance to speak, and he politely declined, man, a few words.
That's awesome.
All right. Take lots of pictures. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. Thank you, Evans, and thank you for just the curriculum and the training. It's important, not just in that maneuver, but of course CPR, and just a lot of non-academic things you learn in school, which save people's lives. So thank you for everybody who participated in the learning of that, and for you for doing it.
Mr. President, I just want to thank Evan's family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for raising such an amazing young man. It's quite inspirational. I think I know you're proud. I know in the moment when no one's watching, he stepped up, and that's as a dad and as a parent myself, that's all you can ask, right? When no one's watching and no one's calling, you step up. And so we're proud, and I know you're proud. And so thank you so much for sharing him with us during the day. and in his after schools, and we're just so grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, before we jump to that next agenda item, I definitely want to echo that. Like, the reality of the situation is a lot of grown-ups wouldn't know what to do in that situation. The reality is, if I was in that situation, I'd be the one that runs to get help. So for you to step into the action and save somebody's life, man, that's huge. So we are super proud of you. You just know, walk around here like you are an example, because you are. Okay, keep your head held high, chest out, and we're excited to see what you do this school year academically as well. So thank you for your help. Appreciate you. Next agenda item, superintendent's report, is blank.
I have a few
But we're gonna
quick
pass it
updates.
to you anyway.
I know it's warm in the room, so I'll try to be brief in there. I just want to remind folks that next week classes start. And so I'll channel Director McElroy, Vice President McElroy, is to remind folks that buses are running. Kids will be on the, walking to school on their safe routes. Please keep your eyes out for them. They might be crossing streets for the first time. They'll be out there. Traffic, watch those traffic signs, please. So the first day of school for our grades 1 through 12 is September 3rd. Kindergarten and Transition K, which is our TTK program, starts Monday, September 8th. Our community-based transition program starts Wednesday, September 10th on a late start day. And our preschool, all the other preschool minus the Transitional K program, starts Thursday, September 11th. Just a quick reminder, and you don't need to remember this, but if you ever wonder what your bell schedule is, please go to your individual school sites. High schools start at 8:15 and end at 2:45. Middle school start at 7:40 and end at 2:10. We have a split elementary. Some start at 8:40 and end at 3:10, and others start at 9 and 9:30. So see your individual schools sites. And our school community-based transition programs start at 7:30 and end at 1. Our first late start Wednesday. So if your kids are telling you, no, mom, dad, or auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, we have late start that first Wednesday. No, Wednesdays late starts don't start till September 10th. Okay, so I've fallen for that as a parent as well. If you're looking for one of those wall calendars or poster calendars we can have, you can get one of those through My School Bucks. They're available through My School Bucks. Just reminding folks that our predominant form of communication is through ParentView. If you're not receiving parent robocalls and messages and via school messengers, please contact your school office and get signed up. The first e-news went out this week on August 24th. Look for a lot of after school, back to school information there in that space. School supply lists can be found on your school webpage. And then just a reminder about school meals. All students in all of our schools have access to free breakfast and free lunches. There are requirements that students must take certain meals or certain items from each category. And then it's very important that families understand, and they'll be getting information that they still need to fill out the free and reduced price meal surveys, because there's other services that are linked to that, whether it's the college-bound scholarships, whether there's access to things like our sports programs. Those are still important. So it's not just about meals. So please look out for that. I'm super excited. The board got a chance to do a retreat at Oakland. Oakland School will be opening up next week with students. Reminder that TOL will also be joining the Oakland School, so that's super exciting. And then you might have seen that the roof went on Maritime Skills Center, so that's moving along. That's not scheduled to open up until the fall of 2026, but anytime you drive down the highway there and look across the Theophos Waterway, you see a lot of progress there. High school sports are in full speed. Middle school sports will start that first week of school. Contact your school in there. Beyond the Bell registration is already activated. Summer late night is wrapping up this week. We are in full swing. Asking for a little patience and grace. We know we went through a very tough time with budgets. In that space, we are very thin. We know that there is a lot of demand on school staff right now with enrollment services. We've heard that, we understand that, we will work through those families. And so we understand your need and your urgency, and school staff are working. We have very thin central office staff. They're working to get kids enrolled. Our desire is to get them enrolled. Please be patient. we'll do that as fast as we can. Go through, get everything you can on your online forms filled out through online enrollment services the best you can.
Can I ask
Yes.
a question about that? Because someone asked me and I did not know the answer. If they're new to the district, but their school district has, like transferred the materials and they're just being told it's pending, so this family doesn't know where to go on the first day of school there, and I suggested that they go to the high school that they're supposed to be, that they're in the area that they lived, but I didn't want to be giving the wrong information, so.
Yeah, I think it's not as easy as just that, right, in that space. And so,
Showing up isn't the answer.
no, unfortunately, it's not. And so I
Darn.
would say call your school on Tuesday if you haven't heard something.
Okay.
And ask for an update, and call your school and ask that specific question and say, in this situation, what should I do in that space? Because unfortunately, if we don't have all the proper paperwork, we can't even register them
Okay.
in that space. We have to, other school district might have to release them. And I don't just know enough details about this individual case. And so it really is a case-by-case situation. And so we can't just put them into a class into an enrollment setting. So we know we have high demand, and that's exciting. We want in there, but we'll get them all enrolled. We'll get them all in classes. We'll get them in that space. This is the time of year. I'll remind families that every year we are balancing class loads. There is constant movement from classroom to classroom. That's part of our work in that space. And so we will do our best in this situation. Please be patient. We hear you. We will return phone calls as fast as we can, emails as fast as we can. And we're excited to do our best this year. Anything else for the good of the order? My last is, I hope everyone has a really safe, restful weekend. I hope all of our staff try to unplug one last time. I know that our teachers are actively busy and they're saying, yeah, whatever, Josh. I'm sure that as they're planning their classrooms, but please try to unplug your computer one last time before you get into the swing of things. Enjoy a little sunshine and rest and relaxation. Here we go. Good luck, 25-26.
We're off and running. With that, next up is staff report to the board, and that one is blank. We now have members of the public wishing to address the board.
I haven't received any for tonight.
Point of personal privilege, I will not be reading all of this because there's nobody to speak, so we're gonna move forward to the consent agenda.
I move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions or comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Sorry. Oh, my apologies. I just wanted to note that on, let's see, 6A, that the minutes are not attached, so, to the meeting, so, but my understanding is they will be attached to the next business meeting.
Received. All those in favor at this point?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Policy matters. There are no policy matters at this time. Next up, curriculum and instruction. A, approval of interlocal agreement number TSD-25-161 between Central Washington University, go Wildcats, and Tacoma School District number 10 for college and high school program for the 25-26 school year.
The superintendent, on behalf of the chief of schools, recommends that the board of directors approve interlocal agreement number TSD-25-161 between Central Washington University, go Wildcats, and Tacoma School District number 10 for college and the high school program for the 2025-2026 school year.
I move 8A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Approval of interlocal agreement number TSD-25-172 between the University of Washington and Tacoma School District number 10 for the UW and the high school program for the 25-26 school year.
The superintendent, on behalf of the chiefs of schools, recommends that the board of directors approve interlocal agreement number TSD-25-172 between University of Washington and Tacoma School District number 10 for UW and the high school program for the 2025-2026 school year.
I move to adopt.
Huskies.
Oh.
He forgot that. Sorry.
I noticed that too.
Don't say that.
You moved it though?
I
I
move to
second
adopt.
it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes. Approval of interdistrict agreement TSD 25-208 between Franklin Pierce School District and Tacoma School District Number 10 for the 2025-2026 school year.
The superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Athletics and Activities, recommends that the Board of Directors approve the inter-district agreement TSD-25-208 between Franklin Pierce School District and the Tacoma School District Number 10 to enable a cooperative swim program for the 2025-2026 school year.
I move item 8C.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. D, approval of inter-district agreements number TSD-25-179 through TSD-25-203 between 25 partnering school districts and Tacoma School District Number 10 from September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2026.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Co-Directors of Student Services, recommends that the Board of Directors approve inter-district agreement number TSD-25-179 through TSD-25-203 between 25 partnering school districts and Tacoma School District Number 10 from September 1, 2025 to August 31, 2026.
I move to adopt item 8D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. All right, business matters. Approval of amendment number 2 to contract TSD-24-167 between Northwest Sports Officials LLC and Tacoma School District Number 10.
The superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Athletics and Activities, recommends the Board of Directors approve amendment number 2 to contract TSD-24-167 with Northwest Sports Officials LLC for stadium event support services in the amount of $122,000, increasing the total contract value to $241,000 and extending the term through August 31st, 2026. Funding source, athletics and activities budget.
I move item 9A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions?
Yeah, question. How are we doing with sports officials in general? There's been a shortage of them since COVID started. I think there probably still is. Do we have a sense as to how that's going for our athletic events?
It really depends on the individual sport sometimes in that space, but we've been pretty successful lately in the last year, filling all of our obligations with our varsity in that space, bless you. And so at each level, we have been successful. We haven't canceled very many games in the last year and a half due to a lack of officials.
Okay. I did notice there's a lot of games being played at alternate, non-traditional times, which has been the pattern because of shortage of officials. So I've been told there's still a shortage. So if there are people in the community that want to apply for those positions, I believe they're still needed.
There's I agree 100%. There is always a need for officials in that space in all the different sports.
All good. Did we get a motion for that one?
Yep.
We did.
Yes.
All right. And we have one question. Any others? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Approval of contract number TSD-25-143 between Overlake Medical Center and Tacoma School District Number 10 for the 2025-2026 school year.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Co-Directors of Student Services, recommends that the Board of Directors approve the contract number TSD-25-038 between Overlake Medical Center and the Tacoma School District Number 10 for special education services for the 2025-2026 school year. Funding source, student services.
I move item 9B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. C, approval of ground lease amendment for the East Side Community Center site improvements.
The Executive Director of Plant and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve the ground lease amendment for the East Side Community Center site improvements.
I move item 9C.
Second. Oh.
Moved and seconded and third. Any questions, comments, concerns about this?
Morris, can you just give a little background for those that might be listening about this item and just the history about
well, I think most folks know that the community center sits on TPS property. What we're doing now is expanding that footprint, allowing them to be able to put in a trail with exercise equipment, an area where they can actually do some playing with some rubberized surfaces, to just really to be able to increase the activity in and around the center.
Thank you, Morris.
All right, there was a question. Any other questions? You would have to ask one of our staff at the, direct it towards general counsel, who'll get an answer. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. And General Counsel Benro,
Yes.
we do have one community member that might have a question about that one, just a heads up.
Okay. No problem.
Moving on to D, approval of contract number TSD-25-062 between Cornerstone General Contractors and Tacoma School District number 10 from April 15th, 2025 through December 31st, 2028.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD-25-062 between Cornerstone General Contractors and the Tacoma School District number 10 for the Whittier Elementary School Replacement Project in the amount of $3,151,159, excluding sales tax, funding source, capital project bond, as approved by voters on February 11th, 2020. Strategic Benchmarkers Partnership.
I move item number 9D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. One second. E, approval of the guaranteed maximum price GMP amendment number 1 between Corsmo Construction and the Tacoma School District number 10, August 5th, 2025 through December 31st, 2029.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve GMP number 1 between Corsmo Construction and Tacoma School District number 10 in the amount of $4,358,052, excluding sales tax, capital bond, issues as approved by the Board February 13th, 2024.
I move item 9E.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns about this one? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Moving on to agenda item number 10, other business. 10A, adoption of resolution number 2162, budget extension.
Just a quick note, my financial report kind of got a little lost on our agenda tonight, unfortunately, so I'm going to just give you a brief overview of the 2 agenda items that I have for you this evening, and that was my financial presentation anyway, but we are heading into year end. It's August 31st over the weekend, and that means that we will be moving into a new fiscal year, and we will start closing out the 24-25 year. It was a financially challenging year. We've talked to you a number of times over this year about our precarious financial situation and where we were at with it. And so at this point in time, in order to ensure that we have expenditure authority in relationship to how much we're spending on salaries and other overextended costs within our programs, we've asked for a budget extension. This time it will be a $10 million extension, which basically gives us all the authority that we have the ability to use. That doesn't mean that we're going to spend all of that. Our intent is still to remain below that amount and to keep ourselves out of binding conditions. But we're so close with the way we're operating, with our fund balance being so low, that we have no option other than to ask for everything that we have. Included in that $10 million is a $3 million transfer from the Capital Projects Fund. And that is actually a separate resolution that I've called out here, but that includes moving money out of the Capital Projects Fund for both the technology in $2.7 million and the maintenance world of $300,000 into the general fund. So those are revenues that go into the general fund. We already have expenditures associated with that in the general fund. We're just having more of those than we anticipated when we started out the year. So we're seeing more software service expenses. We're seeing more like bleacher repairs and painting repairs that we've done that we can use those resources for. We have to charge them in the general fund according to accounting rules, but we can transfer money from the capital to cover them. So there's resources to be able to cover the costs of those expenses. And then the remainder of that is other expenses that we're seeing in salaries and benefits and other cost increases. And just a note on the capital project side, that has nothing to do with the interfund transfer that we do in October. That's a loan that we take from the capital fund that we then pay back with interest. That is a separate accounting activity, and that isn't what is happening with this. So, in the situation that our expenditures do exceed what you approve, hopefully, in our resolution this evening, we would then be in a binding conditions situation. Our best guess at this point in time is my hope, my strategy. I don't know if it's a strategy at this point. We're just waiting to see how everything plays out. My hope is that our fund balance will probably be somewhere in the $3 million range. However, there are 167 steps on our year-end checklist, and each one of them can have a financial impact. And so as we're working through each of those, we will start to identify clearly where we are. We also have another payroll that hits on September 5th that actually gets accrued back because we're a GAP district into this 24-25 fiscal year. So there's a lot of resources that are still in play as we're working through, and that's just an explanation of why I'm here asking for what I'm asking for this evening. And with that, I'm assuming you'll have questions at some point, but the Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt resolution number 2162, providing for the adoption of the 24-25 general fund budget extension.
I move item 10A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns?
I just say, Roz, thanks for the explanation. You actually answered all my questions. I was actually going to ask about the October, transfer. I was assuming it didn't have anything to do with it, but I wanted to make sure that that was mentioned out, the loan. And I think I can speak for everyone up here that we're equally as concerned, if not more, about the status of the fund balance. And I know that Superintendent and the team are doing everything in their power to keep the cuts that we've been having to make as far from the classroom as possible. And I know that isn't, completely working, but, at least we're getting there. And we're having monthly reports now to the board meetings, so appreciate, keeping us up to speed. These are tough times.
Thank you.
Can I just add, and for those that maybe be listening the first time and they're asking themselves, what is that October payment about? So, and you'll see that again coming up again, we are, in the last few years, for a while now, 4 or 5 years at least, we have been borrowing from our capital loan to handle cash flow. And we are required to pay that back on an annual basis. And in essence, we are also required to pay back the interest that we would have gained if that was over in the capital. So that we're not, as the community has supported us with that capital bond, we are not taking away from that. We're borrowing it, and the interest goes back into that on an annual basis. And we're required by law to do that.
And the reason we do that is because we get income at a different time, we get expenditures, and so by the time we get to October, we...
Correct.
Right.
And
More than 25% of our resources come in July and August.
And so we have to do that for a cash flow purpose. I'll remind you, when we talked about this, is the state auditor identified that as a concern in their report. And they also acknowledged that that is because of state funding issues. And so even as the state legislators have played around, that's not a technical term I should use, I apologize, how they have adjusted. Structured and adjusted those revenue sources coming to local school districts, that has an impact on us in that space. So just as we continue to talk about these situations, you will see us come back again in the fall and ask for that again. But that is not on top. We are not compounding those loans every year. We have to pay them back, and then we start over again.
Appreciate it. You all good?
I am.
Okay.
Did you vote?
We're going to roll call vote this one.
Yeah, President Sturgeon, how do you vote on resolution 2162?
Yes, aye.
Vice President McCover, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Resolution 2162 passes 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 10B, adoption of resolution 2163, outstanding warrants for unclaimed property.
The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2163, canceling outstanding warrants that have remained unclaimed for over 1 year. Unclaimed or abandoned property will be remitted to the state and may be claimed at the Department of Revenue website at www.claimyourcash.org. This is an annual procedure that we're required to perform.
I move 10B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerned about it? All right, go to claimyourcash.org and get your money. We'll roll call vote this one as well.
Yes. President Strozier, how do you vote on Resolution 2163?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bomber, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Resolution 2163 passes 5-0.
Perfect, thank you. Moving to 10C, adoption of resolution number 2164 and acceptance of contract between J.A. Morris Construction and Tacoma School District Number 10.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2164 for the acceptance of project completion and approval of acceptance of contract with J.A. Morris Construction for Lincoln High School's CMAR Multi-Care Clinic Upgrade Project. Funding source, capital projects bonds issued as provided by voters on February 11th, 2020.
I move item, what is that?
10C.
10C.
Second.
Couldn't see the 10.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah. Question. What additional, is this, because the clinic is built, so I'd like to hear a little bit more about what additional things are being, is this additions to what's being built already?
We actually built out the clinic so they were able to start this last semester. I believe we started in December, if I'm not mistaken. I do not know all of the services. I apologize about that. But I know they've been ongoing and been seeing students at least for the last 6 months.
This is the official process that acknowledges that we met our obligations of that build-out. So this is the closeout that the board is adopting, saying we have met our contractual agreements and that J.A. Morris has met their contract agreements, and so it is a closeout item.
Okay.
So we're not adding any more built items with J.A. Morris. And so this is our final agreement with J.A. Morris to say, we are legally letting you off the hook, saying you've met all your obligations with us.
Very good, thanks.
Solid. Lee, we'll go ahead and roll call this one.
President Strozier, how do you vote on Resolution 2164?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bomber, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2164 passes 5-0.
All right, adoption of 10D, adoption of resolution number 2165 and acceptance of the contract between McDonald Miller Facility Solutions and Tacoma School District Number 10.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2165 for the acceptance of project completion and approval of acceptance of contract for McDonald Miller Facility Solutions for the Central Administrative Building Boiler Replacement Project. The capital bond project issued as adopted by voters on February 11th, 2020.
I move 10D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns on this one? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll call vote.
President Strozier, how do you vote on Resolution 2165?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Resolution 2165 passes 5-0.
2166.
No, this is
65.
65.
Oh, I've already moved the page down. Never mind. I'm trying not to, I'm trying to keep track.
I got you. I'm keeping
Thank
track.
you.
All right, that was good. 10E, adoption of resolution number 2166 to remove the 1115 East Division Lane property from surplus.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2166 to effectively remove the subject property from the district's surplus list to rebuild the former Galt Middle School property for Idea High School.
I move 10E.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns about this one?
I think it's really clear, no comments or concerns, but just removing from the surplus means that we're taking back on this property because it wasn't our surplus when we were selling the property. So it's kind of confusing when you're like, wait, I thought we were done with this. We're never done. We're always striving, moving ahead, doing the work.
And it's just very exciting that this property will be used for IDEA. So, very exciting. And it's really nice to say something exciting about the Galt property.
General Counsel, I'll pass it to you then.
All right. President Strozier, how do you vote on Resolution 2166?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy?
Aye.
Director Leon?
Aye.
Director Bombright?
Aye.
Director Keating?
Aye.
Resolution 2166 passes 5-0.
One more, 10F, adoption of resolution number 2167, capital projects transfer increase.
The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution Number 2167, providing for the adoption of the 2024-25 capital projects interfund transfer increase.
I move item 10F.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns?
I think she explained them.
I agree. All right, we'll go to the roll call vote, hearing none.
Okay. President Strozier, how do you vote on Resolution 2167?
Aye.
Vice President McElroy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon?
Aye.
Director Bombright?
Aye.
Director Keating?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 2167 passes 5-0.
Appreciate it, thank y'all. Moving on to the closing items, board comments and reports. Anybody can go first.
I'll go.
Okay.
Just checking. So let's see, where to start. I realized I had to look at a calendar to remind myself how long it's been since we've had a board meeting, or a business meeting, I should say. So lots, still doing a lot of meetings with our government affair teams and legislators, and just, preparing and thinking about the upcoming legislative session and the continued funding issues that we face. So just doing some what would be regarded as interim work between legislative sessions. Then we got to kick off the Admin Institute at the beginning of second week of August. Thank you. And that was really fun. President Strozier, Vice President McElroy, and Director Bombright and I all got to give little mini TED Talks about what Tacoma means to us and what it means to be united as a community, as a city. So that was really fun to do that, and share our stories together. And also just, it was sort of like the beginning of the positive energy leading into the new school year. And then last week, I got to attend with Deputy Superintendent Nolan. There was a site visit at the Maritime Skills Academy, and Senator Murray had one of her staff members who's located in DC, flew out here, and her local Pierce County staff member. We were there also with Congresswoman Emily Randolph staffer, and so we got to learn about the project a little bit more and actually see it. So I hadn't been there since the groundbreaking. So it was really, I saw the roof, more than just the roof, but it was really exciting, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful facility when it's done. The location, like the being able to see that part of Tacoma is not something most people get to see. And some of the folks from the Port of Tacoma were also there and shared that there's going to be an additional phase once the port's office buildings and then our facility is completed. They will be adding a more of a public space that will have potentially a coffee shop or some kind of cafe or something that they're really working to. The plan is to have that campus be really accessible to the public, which is just something that, there's very few places in the Port of Tacoma where the public can just go and walk and see. And so they're going to also be using native plants and landscaping. So it just is, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So that was really fun to do. And then Tuesday, I got to attend luncheon with the superintendent for the Tacoma Education Dream Fund, with some other TED Fund board members as well and community leaders. And so that was really great to get to know some community leaders, business community leaders. And then I'm sure you'll talk about. Okay. And then I also got to meet with President Sturgeon, had the chance to meet 2 of our new student reps yesterday. So that is very exciting and super grateful. We'll have a whole new cohort of 4 student reps that'll start with us at our next business meeting. So that was really fun to meet them, and we've no doubt that they'll contribute a lot to our meetings. We're always grateful for our student reps. And then last thing, tomorrow is a really big day. The Asian Pacific Cultural Center is having their grand opening for their new building, which has been a long time coming. So lots of good things to celebrate. So that's it.
Okay, I'll go next. Chelsea, are you ready to wait?
I can go.
Oh, no, I'm gonna go.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, just because there's so many overlaps, I thought. So, first of all, JMAC, the meeting in August 8th was a CEO financial update, and I will say it wasn't all roses. All of the agencies that sit on JMAC, the city, the county, the port, Parks Tacoma, everybody has, Tacoma Public Schools, Pierce Transit, and Health Department are all being hit hard by the federal disarray, the federal cuts, the money being held, the state cuts, the state confusion around what we can afford and can't. And so it was not a very uplifting meeting, but I will say that we have each other's back, and that's one of the things about one city I love is that we live in Tacoma, and we all chat about ways, not just the woe is me and my silo, but how do we leverage each other's energy and resources to capitalize and leverage the work that we do. So I'm just really proud of all the members during this very difficult time, supporting each other. As Director Keating said, the Administrative Institute, which happens every year with school principals and administrators to get revved up and ready for the upcoming school year is like a 4-day long event. I mean, it's quite extensive and exhausting, but so much fun. And I got to go to a couple of the events, I mean, of this beginning one, yes, but then a couple of other ones, and especially enjoyed the what was it, Thursday night, or Wednesday night, I can't remember what night it was, the closing, kind of celebration, and that was great. Everybody was pleasantly exhausted, and it's, when you do that, where you have a really, it's just fun-filled, but, deeply motivating experience, and you just can't stop smiling. That's what that event was like. So I just want to say thank you to the team that put that together and that supports all year long our staff that are working with our kids. So thank you for that. Teen Summer Late Nights, which the superintendent referred earlier, is over this week, and next week school starts, so we're trying to have no gap for kids and for those that don't know what that is, during the summer months, the 10 weeks of summer, we have 10 sites throughout the district that are open in collaboration with our partners at Boys and Girls Club and the Y and Parks Tacoma, for our youth that are entering 6th grade or up through entering 11th grade. And these are open from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. all weeknights for those 10 weeks. And there's a hot meal served, and kids show up and meet friends and, do positive interactive work, just play games and play basketball and just get to know each other. And it is always successful. And we have almost doubled the number of single service, our numbers last year, we served about 1,000 kids over 10,000 times because they came multiple times. This year, we're up over 1,800. So it was incredible how much word has spread, and kids want to be there. They want to be in a safe place, so keeping them off the street. So that was great news. So thank you to all the funding partners. We also, and I potentially the president will tell more about the retreat, but we had our annual retreat at Oakland TOL at the new renovated building, and I will say, for those that are going to be calling that place home for TOL and Oakland students, I can't say, it is such a cool building, and it's very exciting that this place is now going to be kind of a mix of ages and a mix of school styles. So that kids that go to TOL will have a physical location to come do labs and play, sports and do other things. So that was fabulous. And then Director Keating mentioned the Tacoma Education Dream Fund board, which she and I both sit on, and that is actually really revving up right now. So you might be starting to hear about it in the community, and if you have questions, you can check it out on our website. But the Tacoma Education Dream Fund is a foundation dedicated to supporting the students and staff and families in Tacoma Public Schools. So, very exciting, raising resources and, directing them right back down into the kids that we serve. So that's very exciting. This has just been a busy, busy couple months. I had a lot of meetings on the governance committee and the program committee, and we're just getting started. So look to hear more about that in future board meetings. And I also am looking forward to tomorrow's APCC grand opening event. So it's starting to rev up. So that's my report.
Want me to go next? Sure. Mine's just brief, just remind folks that for sports physicals, you can go to, if you can't get into your regular doctor's office, Mount T and Lincoln High School have some extra slots for sports physicals. There's no mass sports physical event anymore happening in Tacoma schools, formally sanctioned ones that I'm aware of. But there's still there used to be a church, I think it was Emmanuel Church over on the east side that was doing an event, and that may or may not be happening. So hopefully you can get in and get your physicals before all the sports start.
Hi, friends. So this time of year, I always do this really fun thing where I stick my foot in my mouth, and then people come and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." And then they send emails and say, "Oh my God, you did it again. Didn't you do that last year?" And so I thought I'd use this meeting as a teaching moment, because either way, I'm going to get an email about it. So what are the purpose of our board comments? Typically what we want to do, we want to give committee reports about the things that we're doing in community, other community events and updates and comments. I think for myself, I tend to try to speak in generalities to protect the integrity of those who come and state their name for the record. When you do come, you present a blue card, your name goes into the record. When you come, you speak at the microphone, then you state your name for the record. So if I were to make board comments in response to someone, first of all, not allowed. But second, if I were to directly say, "Oh, and when Josh got up there and said," I would be in violation of our own policy, but then also I'd be pointing ire towards a community member, and we're going to keep the ire all up here on the dais or with the superintendent. And so I really try to my best to articulate whatever the community need may be in a general term. I really want to elevate voices not present in the room, and I understand that due to our location, language services or lack thereof, socioeconomic statuses, lived experiences, and other traumas may make this space inaccessible or unsafe for some. I always try to elevate the voices that are not present because of the work that I do and the lived experience I have and those in the community whom I serve. But I also want to point out, I am a Black person. That does not mean I'm only speaking for Black people. As an elected vice president of this body, it's my job to speak for all children, especially those who I interface with. I serve the community in multiple places, and because of that, I always want to remind people that sometimes this room isn't the place where you need to make your voices heard. You might want to speak at City Council. They have their meetings on Tuesdays. For their meetings, you can call in on Zoom, which is really fun. Also, in your local community, you have the libraries that have spaces for people to be seen and heard. They have comment cards. And then also there are neighborhood councils. So if you feel like something's happening in your community and you're like, what's going on with this dog poop on a playground? That happens to be a school, but also happens to be co-facilitated by Parks Tacoma, not Metro Parks. You might want to go to a Parks Board meeting. They rarely get guests over there. So I just want to highlight and elevate that the purpose of our comments are to speak on the general tenor of what's going on, community events, committee reports, updates, and comments. So when I speak, though I am a Black woman, I promise you, I am not only speaking for Black people, I happen to be also an educator. I'm speaking for all the children whom I have served in my 20 years of education and those who I continue to serve as the vice president of this body. And so, yeah, I just really want to remind folks that there are so many places to have your voices heard. This room is one of them, but there are so many other avenues to have your community concerns addressed. And sometimes we are limited in what we can do and what we can't do. My job is to govern the policies that we enact and then also to supervise the superintendent. And I really love this role. And I always try, as an educator and a preschool teacher, to bring a little bit of levity. I make a little bit of jokes. I promise you, no jokes are made at anyone's expense, especially people in the room. And so I want to address that now because I already know we have 3 meetings back to back in September. During one of those meetings, somebody's going to say something, and I'm going to make a board comment in general terms, and it may be misinterpreted. I do not mind if you email me after the fact and say, hey, I didn't like when I felt called out by what you said. I promise to get back to you. It might take me 2 weeks, but I'm going to get it done. So, yeah, I want to use this time just to educate others because I already know. This is the time of the year where I address things in general terms because we're talking about a general student body, and there are 28,000 students that I am elected to serve, and that's who I'm speaking up for. If you are present in the room and there's some other group that's not present in the room, that is probably who I'm speaking for because we didn't hear their voice. So I want to thank my board colleagues, general counsel, superintendent, and the board cabinet for all that y'all do listening to me speak from the dais. So thank you. That's my board comment.
Okay, well, the beauty about going last is everybody already says everything. So I get to pass it to Dr. Garcia.
Yeah, one other quick reminder, just want to, we are introducing a new for most of our schools, is a ticketless athletic and activities event called GoFan this year. And so it was part of the North Puget Sound League, so most of our, if you went to a stadium competition last year, you had to participate with GoFan. Which means that you had to buy cashless. It's a cashless ticket to athletics events. And that is district-wide, and it is most of our athletic events away, and now all of our home events. It's for safety and security reasons, it's a cost savings measure, it's for a variety of good purposes in there. And so that my point to that is please make sure that you can buy your tickets in advance. You can buy them there using an iPad. We'll be able to have some iPads, but please plan ahead in that space. We will not be able to take cash at the doors to our athletics and activities events this year. And so I just want to remind folks, I'll try to remind them on a regular basis, we are moving to a cashless athletics and activities event.
I have a question about is this a website, and is there also an app that people can sign up to be able to buy tickets for that? And also, my other question to that is, are there language translation available for those that may need it?
There is a lot of good information on the website, and your schools are also a good resource in there. You can still go in your schools and get help during the day, but we all know that, if you're going to a varsity football game on Friday night, there'll still be school staff there to help you. There'll still be a ticket booth in that, but there won't be cash exchanges in there. You can buy single tickets. There's information right on our website. You can buy an all-season pass or a 10-game flex pass for your convenience. As far as an app goes, I don't have a firm handle on the technology itself. I believe it's a website specific in that space.
There's both an Apple and Android app for the GoFan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
And just off a quick little search, you would go to GoFan and then you would type in the school that your kid goes to. And then once you identify it from the list of schools, and it provides you all of the available options right on the first page. So it seems fairly simple for me to navigate. I understand it might not be the case for everyone though.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to, because everyone's saying it fast, are you saying GoFan? Okay.
G-O.
And then F-A-N?
Yes.
All one word. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. And then I just was wondering, and I don't know what we've done historically, so this may be, out of ignorance, but I'm wondering for those students who may not have the resources to be able to get into a game, do we have any scholarships, resources to help families? So, because especially with the technology, they may not have the smartphones or whatever.
In Washington State, there's a law that an ASB card cannot be a barrier for a student to participate. Now, that's not the case necessarily for a family to participate in there. So we would have to work on a case-by-case situation in that. But our students have access to ASB cards, which would then allow them to access our home events. Now, I want to be clear that sometimes when we have playoff competition games, those are outside of our individual control for a fan to go to. Those are governed by an outside agency. But, you know, for a home regular season event, their ASB card would get them into that home event.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
And then this does not have anything to do with concession sales. If the concessions are being sold, that's still money transferred to whoever's managing those concessions for food.
Correct.
Okay.
But that is going to be on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
I would
you
encourage,
still might need some cash at a game if you want food, drink.
yeah, I would encourage folks to plan to move as much, we'll be moving as much as possible to cashless society as we move
Sure.
forward. We'll try to keep everybody as up-to-date as possible. I just know our events are right around the corner, and folks, those lines get busy, and you can buy those in advance, and so you can then show your ticket electronically. There's no printed copies. If you've ever used it, you don't get a printed copy. You have to use your device.
And if I did my calculations right, our first sporting event is either the 4th or the 5th next week. So, yeah,
Here we
probably
go.
a good time to look into it.
What is it?
To get going. Well, take it easy now. I just looked at all of them, man. Too much dip on your chip. Yeah, well, with that, like, I'll echo that, you know, the Oakland campus in that neighborhood, the work that was done, it was already a value add for our young people. It's definitely a value add for the community. It's a beautiful building. Super excited for the young people to be able to step foot in, their staff to step foot in there. Like, if you were in the Oakland in its previous condition, it wasn't the best. Now it is pretty nice. So I'm excited for folks to be able to experience that space. With that being said, I'll go ahead and announce our next regular board meetings. Starting on someone's birthday, September 11th, 2025, we'll be here for a business meeting, and then September 18th, we'll be right back for a study session, and September 25th, we'll be here again for a business meeting. Kind of seems something a little bit out of order here, so I'm just going to say this. The district's financial report will be presented at one of these board meetings coming up. And now I will adjourn. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
So the next meeting, I will be out of town, just to let everyone
Correct.
know.
Got it. Thank you. No other questions, comments, concerns. We'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thanks.